Hey guys, I'm Geoff Fienberg back with you for oddschecker.com here this week to break down the Safeway Open, the beginning of the 2021 PGA Tour season. Even though we finished up yesterday and we'll have a major championship at Winged Foot next week, but for now we're at Napa at the Safeway. Northern California, beautiful wine country. And I think we got an opportunity to get a couple there'll only be one winner, but an opportunity to see probably a breakthrough win this week. Silverado Country Club, 7,200 yards, a little less actually, but par 72, winning score between -14, -18. Before we get into my picks this week, hit that like button, comment below, tell me who you think is going to win the Safeway Open, and subscribe so these will drop right into your feed each week. Get her going, Joel Dahmen. This is a guy I wanted to bet a ton since the restart, but the field strengths really didn't allow it. And the results kind of show as pertains to who actually won. What I want to say was, 9 tournaments since the restart? But here we are, Joel Dahmen, 28-1. That is over at PointsBet this week. He is a fantastic ball striker, strong off the tee. He sets up perfectly. I can make the case he's the best player in this field. I don't think it's that big of a stretch. So as I mentioned, breakthrough wins. That's where I feel like it could start this week. Joel Dahmen, 28-1. We shop that on the odds checker grid. He loves California golf. Has put up tremendous results there. As I mentioned, he might be my favorite player in the field this week. So I'll go to the window with Joel Dahmen, 28-1. That one's over at PointsBet when checking the odds checker grid. Also at PointsBet this week, Harold Varner, 30-1. Another guy, breakthrough win, first potential win on tour. And that's sort of where all my picks are going to lean this week. And I can make the same case for all of them, although their games differ slightly. The field strength totally allows for these guys that you probably wanted to bet in a lot of the events out of the holdover from the pandemic. But the fields were too strong and the ask was too big. This is a perfect ask for Harold Varner. His ball striking has been outstanding. It has essentially raised a level. There's no doubt about that. He could dominate a course like Silverado. It's the perfect place he could score at on these POA greens. Harold Varner, 30-1 at PointsBet. At PointsBet, he dominates tee to green. He's been fantastic. The past winners here: Cameron Champ, Brendan Steele, Kevin Tway. Not the greatest putters, but very strong tee to green players. And that's what we'll continue this week. Although I got the tee to green superstar coming up for you. Don't worry about that. But Sam Burns, elite driver of the ball. If Brendan Steele can make this place his comfort zone, I'm not surprised if in 4 years we're talking about two-time Silverado winner Sam Burns. Breakthrough win, a guy you probably wanted to put some money on. At least I know I did. But again, the fields, they were so strong. It would have been such a big ask. 50-1, this is the popular number when checking out my odds checker grid, but be careful, friends, because there's a 35 sleeping out there. I don't want to name the site, but you use the odds checker grid, you could see it. That's a pretty big discrepancy. That's why we recommend checking that odds checker grid. But there's even a bigger discrepancy, I would say, coming up. This man, I have to admit, I have a bias on. And it's not Tony Finau, because he's not playing, and I can't waste money on Tony Finau this week. So I get to waste money on somebody else. And that's Luke List. Luke List, 60-1. It can be such an annoying term, and I'm not a big model guy, although you have to trust them, and then there's people you know that are pretty good at building them, and you like to see what they're saying. But on my model, Luke List was number 1 this week. Number 1. Luke List, 60-1. Check your odds checker grid because there's a handful of 40s out there. I wasn't a math savant, but that's like 33%. So if Luke List wins a golf tournament, you better believe you want to get the best number. If we're talking about a course that absolutely loves the tee to green player, then you can't. Uh, this place sets up perfectly for tee to green. He came number one in my modeling. I have a bias for the guy. I can't resist. 60 to 1 in this field seems like a fair. Geez, I don't know if there's any fair number when betting Luke List to win, but you better believe using the odds checker grid, I'm going to get the biggest one out there, and that's where I've landed upon this week, catching that 60 to 1 this week, and there's no fee now for me to waste money on. So in events like these, that could be Luke List. Get ready for it because he is a tee to green animal. He's capable of missing any putts. But just like all these guys, the weeks they win, they hit all the pots. And I believe it is in Luke List. Now, when using the odds checker grid, it asks you if you want to load more. As in, do you want to go farther down the board? And you can load more if you only want to go a bit farther. You can keep loading more. But where we want to go, friends, you gotta load all. You gotta load all. Take you to a land I don't venture much. The very depths of the odds checkerboard this week. Over at Bet365, I'm going to bet Tom Kim at 1,000 to 1. Tom Kim is apparently an alias of Jo Hyung Kim. I hope I am not butchering that name totally. I did my best. Jo Hyung Kim. To my understanding, Mr. Jo Hyung Kim, now going by Tom Kim on the Bet365 board. It's a bet not available everywhere, guys. 1,000 to 1. 111th ranked player in the world. I know the world rankings can be a little tricky at times, guys. I mean, you can use them sometimes to prop up a case for a player. You can use them to poke holes in a player because they do award points for events all over the world against fields that aren't nearly as strong as other ones. I mean, you could literally miss the cut at a PGA event that is worth less than winning an Asian Tour event. You're probably better than said player. Nonetheless, we're going to use world ranking in our favor this time. Okay, guys? Number 111th player in the world at 1,000 to 1. We're going to play that with an each way because I really don't know much about the guy, even though I know more about players ranked far worse than 111th in the world. Tom Kim. I don't have much more to give you, but if you bet $5 at Bet365 when using the odds checker grid at the 1,000 to 1, you win $5,000. So it's something I'm going to try because, as I mentioned with every other golfer on this card, guys, couple things. One, I mean, this would be a breakthrough beyond breakthroughs and probably a crazy ask, but I just think the number is wrong. And it was even, for lack of grammar, more wrong earlier in the day. And some people might have bet it, but still at 1,000 to 1 seems wrong for a player of this world ranking. In a field where, looking at the top of the board, Siwoo Kim is the favorite. No disrespect to Siwoo, you know I'm a fan of Siwoo. I got nothing bad. Won't besmirch Siwoo one bit. But when he's the favorite in an event, it kind of shows you how wide open it is. So this would be an enormous breakthrough, but this field strength sets up for anybody to have a great week and lift a trophy. And in my estimation, it's going to be a first-time winner on tour. And that's where I've gone with Dahmen, Varner, Burns, and List. Those are my main picks. Obviously, we're going to have a little fun with Tom Kim, is apparently his American betting alias. The 111th ranked player in the world. I'll be back later in the week with props for Silverado. And full disclosure, guys, We got a major next week, and NFL season kicks off this week. So I'm like you. A lot of times I'm just a fan, and there's a lot going on. If a major in golf, I would say on a scale of 1 to 5 is like a maximum exposure week for me, then it's like a 5 on a major. I have 5 fingers on a 4. Then the Safeway is like a 1. It's a 1. It's like the bottom of the exposure level. And I'm not saying there's not a great opportunity to hit a 50, 70, 30, 40, 100 to 1 bet this week. I respect that opinion that every golf tournament, big tournament, small tournament represents an opportunity to hit something. But I'm here to honestly tell you there's so much going on right now that I'm not going to get roasted on the Safeway. I've told you who I'm betting. I like them. I'm going to pick them. I'm going to come back with more props tomorrow here on Odds Checker. And I might even add an outright to that. So I'm not betting the tournament, but for me on an exposure level, it's at the lowest end for me. And I'm happy to just let you guys know that. Because we had a fun little end of the season, and then a not so fun real end of the season, because I kind of overexposed myself in a golf betting way. Not in any bad ways. Okay, here we are. Geoff Fienberg, don't forget, like, subscribe, comment, tell me who you think is going to win the Safeway in Napa this week.